Hi everyone. So I am here to explain Tangerine week 3. So on this very first slide that you're going to be see here, this is just kind of an apology to y'all. So what I did not realize is the fact that when I linked in the PDF that it's not the same page numbers as the book. So this entire time I'm like, oh, get to page 100. And I'm thinking like, the book page 100, not the PDF version. The difference between the book and the PDF is the PDF only has 187 pages. So it's like almost double of pages on like one page of the PDF, whereas in the book, it's only like half that much. So, with that being said, if you did not finish the pages from last week, that is what we're doing this week. I'm giving you an opportunity to get caught up. You're only going to have to do a couple of things with it. But I just wanted to apologize because when I am making these guys, I'm just trying to do my best and I just made a mistake. So I'm going to own up to that mistake and I'm going to give y'all some more time to get that done. If y'all got that done, I'm really proud of you. But this week, you're going to be responsible for getting to page 100 on the PDF. So not with the audio, but on the PDF. So just make sure that if you are using audio files like the ones that I've attached to YouTube, that they're not going to track with the PDF version. So it's going to read like half pages of what the PDF version is. You are responsible for getting 100 pages done in the PDF. So out of the 187 pages, you're going to be responsible for getting all 100 pages done, which is not too incredible, being that I'm giving you 3 weeks to get through 100 pages. That's really only like 30 pages a week. So I hope that you've been keeping up with that. So it's not that big of a deal. On this next couple of slides, this is just me embedding those audio files again. It's from pages 1 to 200. If you notice, right here, it says in book, not PDF. So like I said, this audio is not going to track with what you're reading in the PDF. So you're going to have to keep up with where you're at, probably by dates. That's what I'm going to recommend, is just kind of keep up with what dates you're at. And that's going to make it seem more reasonable, because what's going to happen is this audio is going to read to you and it's not going to match up with your pages in your PDF. Like I said, the PDF is shorter, whereas the book is longer. The book is 303 pages, but the PDF is only 187 because it's a bigger paper file. So just make sure that you're keeping track of that. If you're using the audio, you should only be using the audio, guys, if you are truly struggling with reading. If you're in pre-AP, you really shouldn't be using audio at all. So unless you really need that, guys, you shouldn't be using the audio and you should be kind of relying on your abilities there. On page 5. So if you'll notice, these are the same dates that we've been tracking. So pages 5, 6, and 7, these are the pages you've been tracking. So like Tangerine is separated by different dates. Every single date that's in the book, I've got a different section. So September 1st, September 5th, September 6th. It goes each by those dates because it's like a journal entry. What I'm asking for you to do here is for each date, you are either making a comment, a question, or a connection to that section. So maybe in September 1st, I don't know, Eric and Paul got in a fight. Be like, okay, I fight with my siblings. Like Eric and Paul fight. I made a connection to the text. That's all I'm doing. All you're doing there is just checking for understanding. That's all you have to do. And if you have done, like, say you only got through September 1st through September 12th last week, then all you've got to do in the section that you've already done is put LW. That signals to me that you did it last week. I will be checking, however, so don't just start putting a bunch of LWs in there and then expect for me not to check, and it's like, oh wow, they haven't like read anything. So make sure that you're taking care of that business. So you're going to be doing that all the way from September 1st into October 5th. That should take you within the first 100 pages because I blocked those off through the PDF. So that actually should be correct. But like I said, if you have done comments, questions, or connections about those passages, just put LW from last week, and then I will be able to check that for us. On the last part of the assignment for this week, I made it a lot shorter since I am asking you to cover a lot of pages, is I created a choice board for you. So you are going to choose any 2 blocks of the choice board to complete this week. All I'm asking you to really do on these, and I've kind of added instructions here on the bottom of each of these. What I'm asking you to do is just choose 2 blocks. That's all you have to do, and do that over the text. So on this first one, it says write a letter to a character, and it must be at least 10 lines. So all I'm asking you for to do is click this new slide button, and that is where you can write your letter. All I'm going to ask you to do is just, say like letter, and then go ahead and write your letter. If you noticed here, I have make sure to use letter formatting. So if you don't know how to write a proper letter, I've included a YouTube video to help you. I want it written like a letter. So, dear somebody, and it needs to be to a character from the book. And think about what you would talk about with them based on like what you know about that character, their actions, maybe what they're interested in, and make sure that it's at least 10 lines long because I'm not asking you to just do a ton with this week, so I don't feel like that's too much of an assignment. Make sure that you're not using text speak, that you are using full sentences with capital letters, punctuation. If you're feeling fancy, throw compound complex sentences in there, things that we've learned. Be using those skills, guys, because when you come back to school, you're going to be asked to, use those skills again. On this next one, imagine Tangerine became a movie. Create a movie poster for the film. So again, all you're going to do is you're going to add in another slide. All you're going to do is click in and say poster. And then you can clip art and decorate and do all the things, Google Draw, I don't care. But what I want you to do is create a movie poster. Make sure to include the author's name and the name of the book because you're making a movie poster for it. So it needs to include maybe some images of soccer and things like that, or things that from the story that are going to complete this assignment. The next one says choose 5 words from the text and find 3 synonyms and 3 antonyms for each word. This is very similar. Actually, it's exactly the same as an assignment that I gave to y'all the first Tangerine week. So if you need kind of a template of what that should look like, just go there. What I suggest, so what you're going to do here, you're going to say, okay, I am doing the vocab synonym. I'm just going to do it this way. Synonym, antonym. If you noticed here, guys, I have linked in, let me try to find my place. I have a LinkedIn down here, thesaurus.com, because that's where you can find synonyms and antonyms. So all I would do if I wanted to do it how I want you to, or how I did it that first week, all I did was go in here and I inserted a table, and all you would have to do is 3x3, 3x4, however you would like to make it look. So if I were to do it, I would do it something like this, and I would say, okay, my vocab word might be cool, and then I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, and those are going to be my synonyms, and then 1, 2, 3, and those are going to be my antonyms. And you've got to do that for 5 separate words. So cool counts as 1, and then you're doing 3 synonyms, 3 antonyms for each of those words. And remember, you're using thesaurus.com for that. The next one that we have here, I keep getting off the wrong thing. Is if you just want to do kind of a review and play a vocab game. A lot of the feedback that I got said that y'all really like vocabulary games. So I've got a quizzes linked in here. You can play it as many times as you want. It's just more getting you more familiar with that vocabulary for Tangerine. And that link is right there. So you're not going to have to create another slide. On this next one, create a flip grid, respond to the questions on the grid. So when you get into the grid, it will show you the questions I want you to answer. You do not have to show your face, but you do have to use your voice. You can't just like put a piece of paper up to like show your answer. And that flip grid is right here. All you got to do is click the link, go. Okay, choose a character and imagine he had to pack a suit, or he or she had to pack a suitcase for a trip. What would you find in it and why? All I would do here, I would create another slide and I would say maybe like something like suitcase. Why I'm having you just put that up in the corner is just like, hey, it's showing me kind of like what you chose. So like suitcase, and then right here, all you'd have to do is like draw a text box in. And you would tell me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So all you're going to do right there is tell me what's going to be in their suitcase and what character you chose. So like you could do like suitcase Eric, and you're going to tell me those 10 items. So you're welcome to do it that way. That's kind of how I prefer it. On this next one, create 5 comprehension questions for your classmates to answer about the text. So on a slide, so again, opening up another slide, you're going to go over here and you're going to just say, you could say like comp questions or comprehension questions. And all you're doing here is creating a text box, and you're creating 5 questions and answers. So you could say like, what is Paul's brother's name? And I'm going to answer that. It's Eric. That's one question down, and that is its answer. So you're giving me 5 question and answers. So comprehension questions are based on like checking what other people are reading. I might use some of them if you're good. So you can do that one. The next slide is going to be write at least 4 predictions about what you think will happen later in the story. And why do you think these things will happen? So you've got to back it up. You just can't tell me like, okay, the dinosaurs are going to come rule the earth in the middle of Tangerine, because that doesn't really make logical sense. So you are responsible for at least creating some like logical predictions. So like what makes you think that? So you just do predictions and you'd be like, okay, my first prediction is that there will be a fire in the story because there was a fire on the cover of the book. And that's all you've got to do. So that's a prediction that I'm making, and I told you why, because there was a fire on the cover of the book. So that makes me think there's going to be a fire in the story. As far as the last one, write a poem about Tangerine, must be at least 10 lines. It can be any type of poem, so it doesn't have to have a certain rhyme scheme or anything like that. It must be at least 10 lines long. All you're going to do here, you'll go here, you'll say, okay, I am doing a poem, and it's going to be at least 10 lines long. Remember, lines are kind of like sentences almost, but I'm really interested if you want to do that one. I'd love to see it. So at the end of the day, you should have at least 1 or 2 additional slides added on to these stations. I would say 1 or 2 because some of these, like the flip grid, it links into something else, or the quizzes, that links into something else. But if you choose any of these other ones, you're going to have 2 additional slides added. So you'll have a total of 11 at the end. I hope that this really covers what you wanted to do. I tried to be a little more in depth this week. If you have questions, please feel free to email me at haley.milstein@lubbockisd.org. It's going to be a lot quicker if you just email me your questions. Some of you are, kind of waiting to for me to just see your comments. When you make a comment in Google Classroom, it doesn't automatically show up to me, but an email does. So that's probably the best way to get a hold of me, but I will be checking in throughout the week. If you have any questions, please let me know. I love you guys, and I hope that you have a great day, and I will see you later.